past the disagreements, past the inconveniences. They saw one another as people and friends, essentially. They're both highly ambitious, both of them. See that in one another. I've seen it in students too, where students that were bumping heads every single day to the end of the year, after working with each other, they started understanding each other a little bit more. And it's like, now that I know where they're coming from, I know they're not bad people. They just had different ideas to get to the same result. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel where we talk about behavior, boundaries, and education. My name is Matt. I'm a veteran teacher, and today we're going to talk about Wicked. To understand Wicked, you first have to watch Wizard of Oz. So Wizard of Oz, it's about a girl named Dorothy who ended up in a weird place called Oz, this magical land. She has met with Glinda, the Good Witch, after realizing she accidentally killed a bad witch.
No, it was an accident. I didn't mean to kill anybody.
The antagonist of that story was the Wicked Witch of the West. Well, why is the Wicked Witch so wicked? What made her that way? The way this reaction or review is going to work is I'm going to go through the movie by the songs mainly, because with musicals, songs are what's going to keep the story going. It was really, really cool to kind of see all the themes that go along with education and go along with what students kind of feel and go through. I love that the whole first act takes place at Shiz, the Wizarding School of Oz. It's where knowledge and magic meet. So whenever I see a movie centered around magic, I just think about creative solutions, trying to make something out of nothing or seemingly nothing. I love that about this movie, that we're starting out with that. Let's get into it.
Hang on to your diapers, babies! We're going in!
So we start out with this song. Woo! That line right there. Through their lives, our children learn. As a teacher, when I think of schooling and education, I believe education happens in schools, but I don't think you need school to get education. What I mean by that, I have met so many well-educated people in my lifetime, in my career, in my personal life. I've met so many educated people. A few of those people were not schooled. The reason I say this line right here about children learning from the wicked, they learn the things not to do. And these children in this scene are seeing someone pass away. Someone is dead. Good news. The witch is dead. We're celebrating their death, not their life. Those children are learning, like, I don't know what she did, but whatever she did, I need to stay away from it because I don't want to be scorned. I don't want to be isolated. I don't want people to cheer for my death. But education happens through two mediums in life. It happens through study, and it happens through stupid. From study, the things that we read, the things that we watch, the things that we listen to, that's study, the things that we immerse ourselves in. And then we learn from stupid. We see what doesn't work.
Yeah! Parkour! I'm right behind you, Andy! Come on! Yeah! Parkour.
Thomas Edison said a quote, something to the power of, I didn't fail, I just found 1,000 ways not to do something. Every failure is a lesson. Somebody said every loss is a lesson. Read the benefits of that. And the benefit isn't obviously the feeling, because stupid hurts, usually. Whether it's you, the people around you, or both, stupid hurts. But there's benefit in that. There's benefit in doing stupid things and getting a valuable lesson from it. We're celebrating the death of a person. What did this person do? So I love the way it's set up. Hey, if you're liking the video so far, go ahead and like and comment. And if you want to see more content like this, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Helps the channel out a lot. Thank you so much. Now back to the video. Man. Did I say the wicked cry alone? That is so hurtful, dude.
I have cried twice in my life.
The wicked cry. They have to deal with the pain by themselves. That's woo. That hurts. Because it makes you kind of feel for the wicked a little bit. Ooh. Look, Ariana Grande. We need to talk. We need to talk about Ariana for just a second. I knew old girl can sing. The only acting I saw from Ariana Grande growing up was on Nickelodeon.
She asked me to do her eyebrows.
Do what to him?
Make them look neater and nicer. Girl, let's do that. We groom each other like monkeys.
Her acting, man, especially in this scene, everybody's triumphant, everybody around her celebrating, and she's celebrating too. But then you see her face, you look in her eyes, and there's just this grief of, I'm here physically, I'm putting on the show, I'm doing the thing, but you can tell just looking at her face in these scenes, she's just going through the motions, man.
Well, this has been fun. Yep. I'm gonna go.
Oh man, it gets in. These characters were excellent, and the way that Ariana Grande carried this character out, like played this character, was just incredible. I didn't know she could act like this, and it was just so cool to watch. So we get this idea of how society looks at Elphaba and people like Elphaba. We get how society views the wicked. You don't want to be wicked. That's not what you want to do. You want to be good. Goodness knows these things. In fact, our children learn from the wicked so that they don't do those things. They learn through anti-example. You don't want to be like this person, do you? You don't want to be remembered like this person was. No. So we learn from those examples. And then we get to good old Shiz. Y'all, Shiz is where it's at, man. So Shiz is the finest university in odds where knowledge meets magic, as says the director. I'm a big fan of wizarding schools. I mean, that's been a big part of my childhood. And it doesn't seem clear to me, like there are witches there, obviously, but it doesn't seem to me like it's a magic school particularly. Like you just don't see people going to spell classes. There's people that are studying that are necessarily not magical, but I think it's just a place that has a good magic program, possibly. At least that's what it seemed to me. Now, I might be wrong. Talk about it in the comments. But it just seems that we have munchkins, we have princes, we have animals, we have witches. Elphaba has this episode. She was super stressed out. She has this raw talent that is noticed. What's cool about this is actually Madame Orville does a really cool teacher thing here. She sees the whole thing, knows that it's going to be embarrassing for Elphaba, but not only for Elphaba, but for her sister as well. And this is first day of school. You don't need to have this kind of reputation going ahead. So what she does here is really, really cool on the student advocacy standpoint, where we want to advocate for our students as teachers. I love what she did here. She said, I just wanted to showcase my power a little bit. You know what I mean? Like it was cool. It was cheeky. But then she has a private meeting with Elphaba.
You, come with me.
Of course.
Not you. You.
Either way, really, really good teaching practice here. If you have any direction, if it is the business of that student, it should be between you, that student, and the parents or guardians and other professionals. So try not to do any sort of conversation in front of their peers just because it's embarrassing. Even if it's positive, you just might want to fill that out. She presents an opportunity to Elphaba saying, you have talent. And with a little bit of coaching from me, even though I wasn't even going to do my seminar, but I see there could be some potential here. With a little bit of help from me, you might even be able to meet the wizard. When we think about the wizard is like the peak of society. If you meet the wizard, you are of the highest status. So for her, she's green. She's been ridiculed her entire life for being green, for being different.
What? What are you staring at? Do I have something in my teeth?
Seeing the wizard, just by meeting the wizard, getting audience with the wizard would change her status so much that green would even matter. So it's really interesting. So let's listen in. Oh, vocals are amazing. Oh my gosh. Acting's incredible. If I can just get with the wizard, my whole life will change. And by the wizard, you're acclaimed, man. Oh, that's so good. So the whole thing is, you're going through life, but if you can just meet the wizard, if you can hit that status, if you can just go to the city of Oz, work in the city of Oz, that's society, man. That's where everybody wants to get to. We want to get to society. We want to be accepted by society. I don't want to be othered. I don't want to be the outcast or anything like that. This is what I want to do. So it's interesting. It's almost as if the whole point of going to school is to reach this pinnacle in society, to find your place in society. All these different parallels. Man, this is setting such a cool stage. And I see the similarity in regular schools. You go to school, get an education. Then once you get your education, you find your place in society. Prospects will be better, at least as a millennial. That's what was preached to me. Your prospects will be better if you go to college, build your networks, get a degree, open up some more doors. I want to talk a little bit about Dr. Dillerman. There was this whole thing about he could not pronounce Glinda. He could not pronounce Galinda. He told her, I can't do it because I have a speech impediment. Essentially, I don't mean any disrespect. That is what it is. He's presenting the information. He makes it engaging. The moment that he flipped the board over, the way that he pivoted was really interesting. No, we can't do this in K through 12 education, but in college education, to say, I'm out of it. These students are out of it. I lost the class for the day. For him to just dismiss the class, I think was the best move. He's acknowledging that affected me. Even though I didn't want it to affect me, it affected me. That hurt. So I need to get out of space with these kids. The exercise of boundaries in that moment. So good job, man. Good job, Doc. All right. So we get to this song, man. This song's awesome. As anyone who's ever worked with students ever, you've had to kind of referee between two students that did not like each other. And the fact that these two are rooming together is pretty intense. And I'm wondering, where is the room monitor person, the dorm mom, the dorm, you know what I mean? Like, I feel like there should be some help here. These things are sent to try us, is what she said. I did not know what she said at first. These things are sent to try us. I'm on the high ground. Everybody knows that I know it. And it's almost like this self-righteous thing. And it's, I don't know. It just gets under my skin, man. We're all, human beings. We can all just do better. Don't ever feel like you're in this righteous position, because we could all do better. Whenever you have two students loathing each other like this, don't try to mend it. Don't try to do like this, oh, well, we should all be friends, because that's not how it is on the workplace.
You know I have to do this. I know.
In the workplace, or just in life, if you have people that don't like you, that's okay. What people say behind your back is none of your business. I love this about Elphaba, because she has this mindset of, I don't care what people think about me. I want to be better than I was yesterday. So there's this confidence there of, I am who I am. I'm not going to change what I'm not going to change. Are there things I can do better? Sure. But there's things that are just my personality. If people don't like that, those aren't my people. If it gets to the point of harassment, then bring it to a teacher and we'll go through those things. They're going to say whatever they're going to say. You can't control their behavior just like they can't control yours, but you don't have to respond to it. Of course, there's instances where we as educators and admin, parents, whoever you are as an advocate for this child, you do have to step in and say, okay, well, this is becoming a problem. We have those lines. I've had those in my professional life. I've had colleagues who did not like me, but we had to work toward the same goal, and I had to make the confrontation. This tension is keeping us from reaching our goal. So what can we do to resolve these differences? Those are usually productive conversations, and the relationship is usually mended at that point, because we realize we're more successful together than we are trying to work separately. The advice I would give Elphaba and Galinda, at least at this point in the musical, if these are my students, I were to sit and talk with them, I would say, look, here's what's going to happen. Y'all are rooming together for the entire semester, possibly the entire year. What are the conditions that need to be met for each of you to be happy? And then y'all need to figure out a way to compromise, because you are going to be together all year. Y'all need to figure this out. A good educator doesn't tell students what to think. They teach them how to think. True change and true education doesn't happen when the right thing is said. It happens when the right questions are asked.
To corrupt my fellow students falls to me.
So much happens in this one song. There's so much that happens in this one song. Music's insane. And this guy, I didn't know this dude could sing. This is actually a pretty cool sentiment. Nothing matters when knowing nothing matters. It's almost kind of cynical, like, hey, nothing matters, so whatever, let's just dance, let's go through life. Nothing really matters. There's some truth to that, actually. This is a good framework for boundaries. Things matter, right? Like, you want to be excellent in whatever you're doing. If you're in school, you want to be excellent in school. If you're working a job, you want to be excellent at this job you're working. But it's also understanding that you are replaceable in some of these places. So for example, I'm a middle school teacher. I teach 5th and 6th grade. God forbid, but if I died tomorrow or if I died tonight, my job would be listed this week. And nothing personal, that's just business. There's a vacancy. And it wouldn't be indecent for them to do that because they have to fill a position. The story about a pastor's funeral. And he said whenever a pastor of a church dies, they have his funeral. Their spouse, the pastor's children, they have this grief. He's gone. That was a spouse. That was a parent. And whenever the spouse of that pastor and whenever the children of that pastor come up to the casket, grieving and feeling that weight, the saints come up and they're grieved too. They're upset too. But there is a question floating around in their minds. Who's next? Who's going to do this after the pastor we've had for 15, 20 years? So it resonates with me on a very professional level because I'm replaceable at my job. I'm not replaceable in my home. My wife only has one husband. That's me. There's no Indeed job listing out there. So whenever I set my boundaries, I'm going to show up and do the job within my contract hours. But when my contract hours are up, I belong to my wife and my pets and eventually my kids. Those are boundaries. So I love this song in that regard. The spirit of the song is, hey, don't take this stuff so seriously because you're going to go through life checking all these boxes, getting all these assignments submitted, doing all this stuff, and you're never going to enjoy life. You're never going to enjoy making friends and making memories. You're never going to enjoy the moment because you're worried about the next chapter. You're worried about the next step that you can't enjoy the present at all. So I love the spirit of the song, essentially. A little flawed, and it can go the other way of like just not getting anything done ever.
Don't ever, for any reason, do anything to anyone for any reason ever, no matter what.
But I love the spirit of the song. It's just carefree. Look, life is awesome right now. Enjoy it. It's all about perspective because in this scene, we got some grinders in here. We are working, okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. That is not a bad scene. Also, I'm here with so many of my friends right now. Like, this is also just a beautiful thing just to be together.
I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days before you've actually left them.
And you kind of get that perspective shift in this scene. So it's cool.
Life's more painless for the brainless. Why think too hard?
It's so funny because it's kind of a caricature of an actually balanced way of looking at things. Life is painless for the brainless. Don't think about it sometimes. When I turn off my computer, all my worries about school stay at the school. There are days and there are times where I might have to bring work home, but that is absolutely the exception, not the normal. And I also want to be clear with my admin that is not the expectation. That is not what I do. That's not what you pay me for. You pay me for the work that I do within my contract hours. That's what you pay me for, no more, no less, okay? Get this stuff off your mind. It's going to be okay. Worst case, it's going to work out. Do your best and let it go. Talk about learning from studying stupid. If what you did was stupid, you're going to learn from it and you're going to do better the next time. You're always constantly improving. So keep that up. Okay, pivotal moment here. People want to talk about motive. People want to talk about internal motivation and things like that. But a kind act is a kind act. Kindness is kindness. It's all about how it's delivered. And yeah, Galinda, she had some ulterior motives here because in her mind, I just want to get this guy off my back. But she also accidentally did something really kind and really huge for her classmate, for her peer. It just so happened to be Elphaba's sister. Whether or not that was intentional, it just shows, oh man, there's some good. That's not nothing. Elphaba has this moment of don't care the reason. You did something great for my sister. I appreciate that. Whatever the motivation was, whatever it is. And then she does a kind thing for Glinda. And then Glinda sees Elphaba. She learns, oh my gosh, I'm in these seminars now. Elphaba opened that door for me. Maybe she's not that bad either. You get that realization and see all these people treat her the same way that Glinda had been treating her the entire movie. But it's a different perspective. It's a different shift. Now she's not seeing this green, hideous monster who is the antithesis of everything she wants to do and be. She's seeing this beautiful person who helped her, even though she had nothing seemingly to gain from it.
I'll say this much. She doesn't give a twig what anyone thinks.
Of course she does.
He says she just doesn't care. Glinda says no, she just knows how to act like she doesn't care. She just acts like she doesn't care. It's all a facade. You fake it till you make it. Listen, y'all, I was a mess. Absolute mess whenever they started dancing together. Past the disagreements, past the inconveniences, they saw one another as people and friends, essentially. They're both highly ambitious, both of them. See that in one another. I've seen it in students too, where students that were bumping heads every single day to the end of the year, after working with each other, they started understanding each other a little bit more. And it's like, now that I know where they're coming from, I know they're not bad people. They just had different ideas to get to the same result. It's one of the best lessons that people can learn. Moving on to... So now, Glinda wants to help Elphaba by being popular. She tells Elphaba, look, you gave me what I want. I want to give you what you want, which I assume would be my popularity. I want to teach you how to be popular, how to be liked by your peers. It'll be so cool, because she feels like if you're just able to peruse the system, talk to the right people, know the right people, then you'll be set. You'll be good to go. It'll be a good time. It's not the end all be all, but it's so cool just to see. Now I want to help you. Let's help each other. Your road to happiness is through being popular. You can see at the end of this, it's too much at one time, especially whenever, oh man, woo! Glinda looks at Elphaba. They're both looking at Elphaba in the mirror. And Elphaba's like actually seeing herself in a way she's never seen herself before. And Glinda calls it out and says, you're beautiful. Elphaba never heard that. Like she's never even seen herself like that. There's a whole song in the first act that says, I'm not that girl. That ain't me. It's never been me. It never will be me. And it's this whole identity shift of, I can't accept that. Because from the very first song, one of the lines was, she's green, get that out of here. And that's what she's been told her entire life. So for that to shift from people seeing her as beautiful and all these different things, it's wild. So I wanted to highlight this. Dr. Dillamond is an amazing teacher, and it's so crazy what happens to him.
This will be my last day here at Shiz.
Students, remain calm, please.
Yeah, guys. Hey, I know your teacher is being forced out of here. Everything's good. It's fine. It'll be good. Just don't worry about it. It's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's great.
Are we all just gonna sit here in silence?
Ooh! That line right there with the whole animal layer of this story. It's so well written. Animals start losing their rights. We're losing our rights here as animals. Something bad is happening in Oz. Their freedom of speech was being taken away, both legally and, in this case, physically, to the point they started forgetting how to speak. People have different opinions. Some of us are Glindas, some of our Elphabas who are not seeing eye to eye right now. But we all want the world to be a better place. I hate to say sides because it's a literal two-dimensional way to see human nature. And humans, we like to see things black and white, but humans are so much the opposite of black and white. Like, it's not just logical. Like, it's more of a gradient spectrum kind of thing. If you're on the side that is silencing the other side,
that problem comes along, you must zip it.
Really take inventory, and I would venture to say that's the wrong side to be on. The side of silence. Whether that is the side that's trying to silence everybody else or the side that shuts up when injustice is happening. Nobody spoke up. Nobody was speaking up because Yeah, like we just saw a very violent, pretty traumatic thing happen in class, but because there was an official that came in and said, "Stay calm, everything's fine, everything's good." It's mucho bad. That's what I tell the kids. You don't have to agree with them, but you need to give them space to say what they need to say, and then figure out why do they think that's a good idea, and what is the end goal that they're trying to reach. Then Elphaba gets the invitation to go see the wizard. She's going to get an audience with the wizard, and this is everything she ever dreamed of. She came to school. She had these amazing opportunities to grow. Like, it just kind of happened accidentally. She has new friends now. She's gained this popularity, and now she gets to meet the wizard. Everything's working together. It's so good so far, right?
Makes me so happy.
That's what I love best. Making people happy.
Making people happy.
I think everyone deserves the chance to fly.
So she meets the wizard, and he talks about this paradise. I'm going to give you all your dreams. All this is going to work out in your favor. It's going to be so good because everyone deserves a chance to fly. That is the line. Everyone deserves a chance to fly. And again, this sounds good. We want the same thing, right? But what are the means that we're doing to get there? In those means, does anyone get hurt on the way? We talk about people being othered. You look throughout history, multiple groups have been othered by multiple other groups. Problems happen. In fact, in this case, Dillerman mentioned that whenever the drought happened, they needed someone to blame, and they blamed the animals. Why? Who knows? Who knows why? I've met the wizard, and things are going to be okay. Things are going to work out now, right? Is that what's going to happen? It's not what happens. She's tricked into giving a monkey wings, giving all the monkeys wings. And then she finds out, wait a minute, you were using me, and they're in pain. You're not who you say you are. What's going on? I did all this work. I came all this way just to find out the things that you told me were untrue. And here's what's interesting. Elphaba sees this, and Glinda sees this, because now she's Glinda in solidarity. What's cool about the last song of the movie is we get both of their reactions and their responses to this thing. Because obviously they get fight or flight. We've heard fight or flight, but it's actually fight, flight, fawn, or freeze. Fight or flight, which is I'm going to punch you, I'm going to run. Fawn is I'm just going to compliment this person in front of me, make them feel okay, do what I need to do, get along to get along, right? That's fawn. And then freeze is where you just, I don't know what to do right now. I'm just going to I don't know what my next move is, so I'm just not going to move. Okay, that's freeze. Well, in this case, Elphaba flees. She's flying. Glinda kind of freezes, and then she more fawns. She's like, look, let's just try to get everybody on the same page. There's some emotions happening here, so let's just see where everybody's coming from. You know, let's see what's happening, right? Because, you know, maybe the wizard didn't really mean to have scouts everywhere to kind of spy on the citizens of Oz. Maybe that was a misunderstanding. And then, again, Elphaba, she has this frame of mind, this frame of thinking that says, I can't be that, I'm not that person. But in this case, she sees that everything she would ever want, she says, I can't want it. My theory on why Elphaba is so others focused is because she has gone through her entire life being ridiculed, being bullied, and being othered by everyone. And people that are like that tend to have this mindset, I don't want anyone else to feel the way that I do every day. In fact, this was said about people with depression. The reason that people who have depression, particularly clinical depression, you don't see it coming because they are so happy all the time. They make people feel good. They light up a room when they come in. It's a coping mechanism in a way. People that struggle with depression make it a point to make everybody feel incredible because they don't want anybody, their family, their friends, or acquaintances to feel for a second what they feel all the time. And I thought that was one of the most beautifully tragic things, because just to feel this weight on you all the time and saying, if I could do anything to make it to where no one else has to feel this, I will do that every time. And this is what we see in Elphaba. So here we go, define gravity. Well, here's the thing, they both have the same feeling about what just happened, but they disagree about how the other handled it. Oh man, this is really cool to see play out.
I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy too. I hope you're proud how you would grovel in submission to feed your own ambition.
Because she's fawning. When you fawn, you're just like, I'm gonna go along to get along, okay? Opposed to Elphaba, who is a little bit of fight and flight. Like she left, but then it was like a mix of fight and flight there. And so that was really cool to see. That's the thing. Neither of them are happy at all. They just don't know what to do next. Like, what's my next step?
Just say you're sorry.
Hey, do what I'm doing. Fun. Go along to get along. Also, for my Hamilton fans, this is what Aaron Burr does. He goes along to get along. And Hamilton was a fighter. He's like, nah, he ain't doing that. It's interesting. I wanted it before, but knowing what it's going to cost to get it, I can't want it anymore. Incredible vocal. God. Nature and nurture, right? I mean, why are we fawning? Why do we fly? Some of it's in us, like some of it's a natural response, but also Glenda just said probably something that she's heard from teachers, from parents, from tutors, people that have. But look, I felt this way too before, but this is what's going on. And they'll say you're having delusions of grandeur. But what I'll see too is like a lot of people will throw out, that's because you're autistic. That's because you're ADHD or ODD or whatever. Or you have dyslexia and things like that. And I've heard kids say, well, it's because I have this. It's because I have that. I get that. And why does that affect how I live my life?
You can do anything. I know.
So when I think of defying gravity from an educational perspective, there's labels and we have these things thrust upon us. But what are we going to do to lift those things up? Oh, see, look right there. I'm done accepting limits because someone said they're so. Henry Ford, whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Oh, man, that's such a good line.
Some things I cannot change. Until I try, I'll never know.
Some things I can't. Listen, oh my gosh. So many, oh my gosh. So many students who accept limits that are put on them. Well, I'm dyslexic, so I can't. I'm autistic, so I can't. I'm attention deficit hyperactivity disorder, so I can't. I have a specific learning disability, so I can't. And they're accepting those limits. Like, I guess I'm limited, so I can't do this thing. But then there's also so many others who are like, so? I don't care. For example, there was a dyslexic Swedish boy diagnosed with dyslexia from Swedish diagnosticians. He dropped out of school and started selling fish from his bicycle. And Christmas came around, and he's like, you know what? I'm going to sell some Christmas stuff. I'm going to sell some ornaments. I'm going to sell some little knickknacks for my bicycle. So we got this dyslexic dropout here selling fish and selling Christmas stuff. And this Swedish dyslexic dropout, who passed away in 2018, with an estimated net worth of $58.7 billion for starting a small furniture company known as IKEA. He's not going to change the fact he's dyslexic, but I love that line. Some things I cannot change, but until I try, I'll never know. That's incredible. Absolutely incredible writing there. And if this doesn't talk about the institution of education, I don't know what does. As a special education teacher, I see brilliant kids diagnosed with any ism. And I'm not denying that those aren't real diagnoses, but I've seen the toxic end of it, of I can't because of this diagnosis. I can't because of my family. I've heard it from parents. I've heard in so many parent-teacher meetings where parents have told me, I wasn't good at math, so they're not going to be good at math. I can't change how you were at math, but maybe they can change. But until they try, they'll never know. I love that, dude.
Think of what we could do together.
So she extended this invitation to Glenda. Look, I've told you my side. I've told you where I'm coming from. Are you with me or are you not? And it's not even that are you with me or against me. It's more of like, here's my invitation.
I hope it brings you boost. I really hope you get it and you don't live to regret it.
That was so at the beginning of the song, we hear this very sarcastic, I hope you're happy. But then at this point in the song, we're hearing like a genuine, I really hope you're happy. I hope this works out. I hope you don't live to regret this moment right here. They're both communicating acceptance of the other's choices. Listen, obviously I don't agree with what you're doing because I'm not doing it with you, but I really hope you're happy. I really hope this is the right call for you. I know it's not the right call for me, but maybe it's right for you. So I love, that's such a beautiful picture of friendship. I love what one of my mentors told me. She said, I don't give advice, I give options. Because that's really all people need. They need options. And then from there, they make the option that seems best for them.
Oh, yes, the past can hurt. But the way I see it, you can either run from it or learn from it.
When I grew up, my dad told me and told all of us, when you grow up, you're going to make good decisions and you're going to make bad decisions, but you need to make sure that they're your decision. So that way, when the mud comes up and things don't work out, you can learn from those mistakes. You can learn from your stupid. Tongue-in-cheek that was. Because that's calling back to the sentimental man where the wizard was like, I think everyone deserves a chance to fly, but they're empty words. He doesn't. He's self-interested. She's calling it back there like everyone deserves a chance to fly. So I'm just doing what I was told at the end of the day.
I mean, you're the so, and I don't even like you're the okay.
I've seen so many educational institutions say we want creativity, we want courage, but do it this way. I've heard of college professors who have given students bad grades because they didn't agree with their views on both sides, whether liberal or conservative, it doesn't matter because it's happened on both ends. There's just biases there.
Because I'm going to tell you directly to your face.
No, you don't have to.
No, I don't like you.
But I love that little tongue-in-cheek. As someone once told me, everyone deserves a chance to fly. So, if I'm flying solo, at least I'm flying free. You know what I mean? Oh, I love that and that confidence. You hear a friend saying, look, you're making the right decision, but I really hope you're happy. I hope it doesn't blow up in your face. No wizard that there is or was, and nobody in all of Oz is ever going to bring me down. I don't take that to mean, I don't care what they think, blah, 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 because Glenda said it earlier in the other song. She just pretends she doesn't care. Obviously, she cares, but she has this mask on. She has this face, which isn't bad to have this persona on. That's what courage is. Courage is being scared. In her case, being scared of rejection and doing it anyway. That's courage. You can't have courage without fear. Fear is a precondition for courage to exist. And then you hear all the people of Oz saying, look at her, she's wicked, kill her. And she's still like singing over them. And it's just so cool. I hear the ridicule. I hear the criticism. I know what people are saying about me. That's none of my business what they say about me.
That's none of my business what they say about me.
That's not slowing me down. That's not bringing me down. I have a mission to do. I have things to do. I have something to live for. When it comes to advocating for students in a way that they become courageous and not compliant, this is the attitude. I may be strong and wrong. So Mike Lipkin has this quote in his book, Dancing with Disruption. And in this book, he says, I've been wrong before, but I never doubted myself. You can be teachable and confident. I made the wrong decisions, but I'm not going to doubt my judgment every single time. So I love that they repeat that line. I hope you're happy now that you're doing this. I hope you don't live to regret it. But there's this confidence of, even if I'm wrong, at least I know this is my decision and I'm going through with it. As an educator, I tell my kids, strong and wrong. I don't care if you're wrong. I care if you're confident. Own your answer. If you're wrong, who cares? Now you're going to learn something. So keep pushing. Don't be scared of doing wrong. Speak up. What we can do on our end as adults who advocate for students is to answer those questions as honestly as we can. All right, so that was my reaction and review of Wicked the movie. What is the grade? So for Wicked Part 1, I'm going to give it a grade of A+. Absolutely incredible message. The music, the acting, the singing, everything was just so good. Talking about the educational aspects, talking about the lesson that was being communicated. Absolutely incredible lesson. There are critics who say doesn't give honor to the original at all. I would just kind of remind those critics that the Wizard of Oz book has a completely different message than the Wizard of Oz movie, which has a completely different message than Wicked. The message of friendship, the message of inclusion, all those different things. So really enjoyed the movie. So I give it an A+. Just overall lesson was incredible. The characters were built up really well. They were really realistic. No one was perfect, and they all had character arcs. Everybody they're developing. I'm excited for part 2 to come out. I can't wait, and there will be a review on that as well. If you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and hit the subscribe button and hit the notification bell so you will not miss when that gets posted. Thank you guys so very much for staying through the entire video. Hope you guys have a great week, and God bless.